Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today is going to be the Q&A video that I had planned for you guys, and thank you guys very much for 150k as well as participating in the community post so you guys could come ask me questions so I could do pretty much just an updated version because the last version was just super old and a little bit outdated. So I'm gonna be coloring this for the most part while answering questions, so I'll do my best to keep alternating from answering questions and progressing through the coloring portion of this. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to finish the entire thing, but at least I can show you guys at least the process of sketching a little bit. I decided to sketch this off screen just because this is actually based off of a sketchbook doodle thing that I did in my... Just let me show you. So while this is running, I'm gonna show you guys. So I did do I don't know how well you can see that. Kind of like a little sketch so I could figure out what I wanted to draw while talking about stuff. I'm gonna separate this Q&A into different sections to the best of my ability. So most stuff will be general stuff, and then most likely will be then art, then random, and Genshin. So I'll try to break it up into those sections. So we'll start with the most frequently asked questions that pertain to more personal stuff about myself, and then we'll move on to art stuff. So yeah, I just drew myself along with my OCs here, so I thought it'd be fun to do that so you guys get to know my OCs a little bit as well while I'm drawing. So let's get started. I don't know how well this is gonna work. I'm gonna change the background color. So I'm just gonna change all my layers to the appropriate thing before we start. So hopefully the colors show up somewhat accurate at least. Let me see. Okay, so let's answer some questions and hopefully I can talk while doing this. So general questions is probably what's your name, as well as like age, birthday, and that stuff. So my real name is Joanna. I prefer if you guys don't call me by my real name just because I feel it a little bit awkward if you guys like use my name, because I don't really go by that unless you're close to me. In terms of like if you're one of my online friends or if you're just my friend in general, like in real life. I prefer if you guys just refer to me as Rinspirit or Rin. So yeah, my real name is Joanna. So in terms of my birthday, I'm born in July 19th to be exact. And I am, to your surprise, I am actually 24 currently, and I'll be turning 25 a little bit later this year, obviously. So all of the people who always say stuff like, oh my god, you're so lucky that your parents buy you blank and all this jazz, like guys, I don't need my parents' permission to buy things. Yes, like I still like live with them and live under their roof, so therefore it's their house, their rules kind of thing, but they don't dictate whether or not I can buy, let's say, like my iPad and stuff. So yeah, all of you guys, you probably think like I'm like 15 or whatever age you think that I can't buy my own devices with my own money. Hopefully that clears things up. Let's go into questions, just because some people did have questions about my nationality. So what nationality are you? Asked Alexa Butterfly 07, and Yoni asked, are you half Filipino? So my nationality is Canadian. I've been born and raised in Canada. And then my ethnicity is Chinese. So both of my parents are Chinese, and yeah, they both speak Mandarin and Cantonese, but Cantonese is the language of choice that they speak the most because they're from more of the Guangdong area. So yeah, hopefully that answers the majority of the basic questions. And any for other Canadians, I am from Alberta. But I won't say the exact specific location just for safety reasons. Okay, so let's go into the art questions because I believe that has the most, and there's a lot of general questions that are kind of asked within that as well, as such as when I've started drawing, why did I start drawing, as well as a little bit of like YouTube questions and all that jazz. So let's get into that. Okay, let's get this question out of the way first just because I do have my OCs here. So Christoph Perez, can you tell me all of your OCs? So all my current OCs are actually here. So let's start from the back. We have Hansuke, who is kind of like my little cat mascot that I don't draw as often as I used to. But he's right here. Right here is Koji. So I'm kind of going in age order almost. Koji. So he's like my 12, 13-year-old OC who is very much into baseball and is a little bit more... He's kind of like innocent but a little bit rowdy. Just like a normal teenage boy going through life. Next we have Sato, who is 18 years old. She's in her last year of high school and she works at a sweets shop, and she's cousin to my OC Masaki, who's here. He's a 21-year-old part-time florist and he is studying floriculture and botany. So yeah, so that's all my OCs because I've abandoned pretty much all my OCs from my high school, middle school days. So I've made my own OCs that I want to draw and commonly draw more often. So yeah, here we go. So in terms of age, I'm older than all of them, but I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of wanted a OC in every age group, if that makes sense. Not every age group, but like different age groups, because there's like different things that they can go through that I would like to focus on, as well as like I don't draw kids often, so Koji will help me with that, as like I just don't draw kids often. Masaki's kind of like my comfort character. I tend to draw like somewhat like cuter males, but he's on the like taller, a little bit older side. And then Sato is my female OC that I hopefully will draw more because I wanted to get back into drawing more females and being more comfy with them. And Hansuke was just kind of for kind of like branding purposes. I still like him. Actually, let me show you guys one thing. So I think like I'll probably answer this question a little bit more thoroughly a little bit later. Is that on my store I still have some Hansukes left. This one's still the sample one that I have. I decided to keep the sample one for myself obviously, but he still has like the little stitch lines on his legs. But this is him, so he has like a little sprout behind where his tail is, and then he has like a little sprout bow tie thing. This one's very soft. He's very soft and squishy. But yeah, this is Hansuke. He's kind of like a little mischievous helper cat friend. So maybe I'll just stick him here and you guys can have him peering. Angel1234 asks, here are some questions for you. So number 1, what inspired you to become an artist? 2, how many years did it take for you to develop your art style? 3, what is your favorite color? 4, who inspired you to do art in the first place? If no one inspired you, then what made you the most inspired to draw? So, this, I started drawing when I was 12. So when I was 12, my parents made me and my brother move, or like I guess our whole family moved to the city. So I used to live in a small, I guess like it's considered a village because it only had like 300, 400 people. It's like a really small community. But we moved to the city and we went to a much larger like public school. And when I was there, I actually met my best friend. She was in the same homeroom as me, so we're still friends to this day. And I met another girl, and through the other girl and my best friend, or one of my best friends, they had another friend from a different class, so I decided to hang out with her as well because we actually shared the same art class in grade 7, and this is in second term. So maybe it was like 2009 is when I started drawing technically, I think. 2009. And and she was very much into drawing like anime, and she watched a lot of anime, and she told me like, hey, I think you would like very much enjoy these, like you should watch these different animes and you should try drawing in the anime style because it's really fun. And I'm just like sure, like I will try anything at this point, because I didn't really have very many hobbies growing up. I've always played outside, play with my brother's friends. Sometimes my friends from like the farms and stuff would come into the town or whatever, and we would hang out at the pool or at the school or at the playground, or I would just be playing video games with my older brother. I decided to pick up drawing because of that girl, and we became close for a little bit. We talked for quite a while, like probably 2 to 3 years, and then I guess her hobbies shifted, and half of my friend group and I don't know, her friend group and stuff, like we started to drift apart. I guess we didn't see eye to eye on different things, and I was with one of those friends, and then my friend that got me into art was with the other 2 people that were in part of the fallout, so we kind of split up. But that's how I got into drawing in the first place. So it was kind of fun because it was like drawing with other people. There's like more motivation for me to, you know, like want to improve or continue drawing, because it was fun sharing drawings with all these other people. How many years does it take for you to develop your art style? Now, in terms of this question, I'm gonna answer this to the best of my ability, and as well as that this is 100% my own opinion. I do not, like, if you don't believe in this, then you can go ahead and believe what you want, but I believe that art style is not important, especially when starting out with drawing. So I've also read things and listened to other people, and I agree with them in terms that unless you're planning to go into the industry or are looking for a specific kind of job that requires you to have a certain kind of skill set and maybe style, that you really need to be so fixated on something like an art style. Art style will always change along with your preferences and your fundamentals. Like the stuff you learn is going to change your art style. The fundamentals is going to change the thing, like how you approach things, right? And how you approach things will also change your style, your preferences. So most likely your preferences from when you, let's say you're 10, will not be the same as when you're like 20, like in your 20s, like not 100% the same. And anything that influences yourself as a person will also affect your art. So there's no like guarantee to how many years it takes for you to achieve an art style, because a lot of it's literally you finding art that you like, you attempting to create art using whatever techniques that you're looking at or the style that you're looking at, and you're picking and choosing and also discarding things that you like and dislike. And the more you do this with a bunch of different artists is when you're gonna start to find a common ground and an area where not an area, you get to a point where your style starts to shift into literally all your preferences. Hopefully that makes sense. I am terrible at explaining. Like basically your style is like a whole mixture of the stuff that you've experienced, and no one person is gonna experience the exact same thing as another person. Like even if you mimic a person's style for so long, you're not gonna experience the same thing. Because like, let's pretend you copy only one person's art style, but you don't have the same experience as them. So maybe you're not familiar how the body works. So if you're not able to have that person's art as a reference anymore, maybe you struggle to keep up with consistency with that art, because that style technically, or like the stuff that you're looking at, is technically not something you're familiar with. So you're gonna have troubles keeping up with that look, if that makes sense. I don't like the people who comment saying like, oh my god, I love your art style, I wish I had that art style because I just want to be good at art. And I don't think that reason is good enough to sustain your interest in art, if that makes sense. If your final goal is to be good at art, I don't think you're gonna get very far, compared to a person who genuinely likes drawing or making art. Because I think I mentioned this in the other ASMR video, like the Eula one, that if you genuinely like something, you are more willing to learn or to further your education on something that you enjoy rather than something you do not enjoy, right? But also burnout is a thing, so obviously some people who do art as a hobby will keep it as a hobby because they know that if they turn it into something like a business or their job, that they'll enjoy it less. And I think that's a better mindset than forcing yourself to be good at something because you only care about the end result. So in terms of to answer this person's question, how many years did it take you to develop your art style? I'm just gonna say like the entire time I've been drawing. So from 2009 until now, I can definitely say like there's definitely things that can help you boost and bolster your art style into a specific direction. It depends like where you put your focus on. Like obviously improving everything at the same time is gonna show you less improvement over a short time versus if you focus on one thing and let that kind of be your main focus. During a short time, you're probably going to see improvement in that one area versus like everything, right? Number 3, what's your favorite color? I'll pop them on the screen so you guys can see just because it'll be more accurate that way. But I love like navy blues, teals, and like peach colors. I've been growing on the pink a little bit more since of being a Carat. You see a lot of pink and blue, and I love the combination of pink and blue, so there's that. Number 4, who inspired you to do art in the first place? If no one inspired you, then what makes you most inspired to draw? So I feel like there's 2 questions in that one. I answered the first one in terms of who inspired me to draw, which is technically that friend from my junior high days. And what makes you the most inspired to draw? I don't know, I just love stuff that's visual, like I really do. So browsing on Pinterest, seeing music videos, listening to music. 17 makes me feel inspired a lot. I do a lot of 17 fan art, if you guys know, so obviously I will draw stuff either inspired by 17 or 17 fan art. So Kaylee Jacob Pedraya and Elizabeth Margareta. I am so sorry, I'm butchering everyone's names. But they asked, when did you start drawing and making videos? And the other one asked, why did you post onto YouTube? Similar to my friends, I'll make sure to put like little illustrations of my friends in a basic way so that you guys know who I'm referring to. So this one, who is my friend in junior high who started art around the same time. Yeah, but she and the girl who got me into art, we love to share our processes a lot. And because I loved art so much, because I found it like a stress reliever, I found it fun, I found that I picked up things fairly quickly. And I guess they noticed it too. So every time I find something new that I learned, I wanted to share with them, and they always asked as well. So we started both doing digital art in 8th grade, and they liked the way how I colored and did eyes back then. I don't know why, but I guess it must have been fascinating for our 13-year-old brains. And we would post our stuff onto DeviantArt, right? And they were interested in how I was achieving this look. I am gonna change the brightness a little bit. So I decided to post little speed paints onto DeviantArt, or not DeviantArt, onto YouTube. So this is like 2010, and I believe that's when my YouTube says I created my account, I believe. So yeah, I've unlisted the videos. Oh, I should maybe answer this one earlier too. Which artist inspired you the most? Do you plan on making merch such as apparel, charms, pin, etc. in the future? How long does it take you to finish a sketch or a doodle compared to a finished work? I think I draw too slow. So let me answer the last question first, actually, just because I think my opinion might differ from other people, but hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from, is that I don't believe in drawing too slow. I don't think there should be like a time limit for a person, unless you're actually supposed to be drawing something for a time limit, let's say like for a convention and you're gave yourself maybe 2 hours per person's commission, and maybe you're taking like 5 hours. Maybe you are drawing too slow, or you underestimated the amount of time that you need to work on said commission, right? I don't think there is a drawing too slow or drawing too fast. Like, you're not racing against anybody. So just take your time with drawing. I think for me, sketching takes maybe a third of the time of the finished piece, because coloring takes me a long time and rendering is a little bit more of a tedious and longer process. So, do you plan on making merch such as apparels, pins, charms, etc.? I actually do have an online store. I just don't promote it because I kind of don't like self-promotion. I find it awkward. But if you are interested in any like a Hansuke plush, I do have 3 left, I believe, as well as I do have 17 stickers, a little bit of Genshin stuff, as well as other things on my store. So especially if you're a Carat, you can definitely check it out because I have more stuff catered to you guys, as I started more off as a Carat fan artist, if anything. So yeah, I do have stickers and stuff on there, as well as prints. I have a lot of Genshin prints up there now, and yeah. I'm going to be adding stuff of my OCs fairly soon. I know a lot of you guys really like Masaki, so I'll make sure to give him his little own section, or at least my OCs a little section, so you guys can have some stuff of Masaki. But I do have a store, and it's always listed in the description. I just never promote it. But I'll have a video talking a little bit about my online store and how I do a little bit of packaging and sustainable ways to do packaging, because I always do my best to package without plastic if I can. So it's always like paper products and stuff that can be reused or recycled. So, which artist inspired you the most? I don't know if I have like a specific artist. I think that's the good thing about something like Instagram or having Twitter, is that having your feed constantly bombard you with artists, I think is really nice, as well as keeping up with people who you know have similar tastes as you and following up with their stories, I think is a good way to find artists. A lot of the artists I follow actually are Carat fan artists, obviously, just because I like supporting people that are also in the same fandom as me. I'm so sorry if this video is like gonna be extremely long. I'll do my best if I remember to put timestamps and stuff so you guys can get the questions that you want answered. Misa-chan asks, what kind of art do you enjoy making the most? Number 2, are you studying anything at the moment? Language, a skill, etc. Number 3, what is the one thing that you make sure to do every day? Any random habit is fine too. Hahaha. Anyway, stay safe and healthy. Thank you. So number 1, what kind of art do you enjoy making the most? I love, well, obviously 17 related art. I think making art for a fandom is sometimes very fun, and you can find people who are very much like-minded as you, or at least share the same interest, at least in that fandom, right? So one thing I like to draw most is 17. I just like drawing cute things in general. Cute things are probably my favorite thing to draw. So studying as in anything in general, I've been trying to learn Live 2D. Yeah, I can do the basic rigging, but a lot of like the physics or doing the, so there's like the X, Y, I guess I can't really do the Z axis that well, or the Z axis that well. So there's still a lot of things I want to learn, but I'm slowly learning how to do rigging. Language. I want to learn a little bit of Japanese. I've been learning Korean like on and off, not in a very formal way, but kind of just on and off, just because I wanted to learn how to read and write for the most part. But I haven't like formally or like actually sat down to learn Korean. I would like to in the future though. Any other skills? I've been trying to cook more. Number 3, what is the one thing that you make sure to do every day? Genshin? Genshin dailies, I guess. I keep forgetting to do the login event, but I do Genshin dailies every day so far. Liz Blee asked the question, so where or how do you find good references, get ideas for or inspiration for art? If it's too hard to answer, what's your favorite type of tea or just a favorite type of drink? So, in terms of finding good ideas or references or inspiration, I find it easier for me anyways. Okay, so if you have a general idea, sometimes browsing Google will suffice. If you have like just a general idea, if you want to look up like a certain kind of like aesthetic and stuff, I just search it up on Google. But if you're looking for something specific, usually I will go to Pinterest and look up a bunch of different things and pin a bunch of different things so I can have kind of like a mood board. Okay, so I use VizRef occasionally. I don't use it as much anymore just because I like to use references from my phone a little bit more. But so as you can see, sometimes when I'm compiling a bunch of different stuff, I have my references like this. So it's kind of like similar to my Pinterest board. But I try to find pictures and stuff that might relate to whatever I'm drawing, and you just compile them into a kind of like a mood board. So it's like when I was in Japan, in 2019, I took a lot of pictures of flowers because that's what I was interested in. So sometimes like when you're out and about, if you're allowed to, take photos of stuff that you're interested in, or like color schemes. So I pin a lot of color palettes. Yeah, but I think because a lot of artists use Pinterest, it's easy for Pinterest to be a way to find something a little bit more specific that has a little bit more like artistry or a little bit more artistic, like an artistic feel to it. So I highly recommend using Pinterest if you can. Okay, so Eclipse Heart asks, how do you balance when to draw traditionally or digitally? Also love your art. Thank you. So this will kind of go hand in hand with another question that's asked by, I don't know how to say your name, ORXM. And they've asked, have you ever been burnt out of drawing? If so, how do you overcome it? So for me, in terms of art burnout, I try my best to first of all avoid it. So for me, I usually get art burnout if I work on something for too long, and usually that refers to a specific medium, such as if I'm drawing on the iPad for too long, I will either switch up and draw on my tablet instead, like attached to my computer, so I can work on Paint Tool SI or in Clip Studio Paint. But if I'm really burnt out on just digital drawing in general, that's when I start to switch up and do traditional art. And sometimes I get into a point where I have to switch between each medium. And I do it because sometimes I just have a interest in one medium versus the other. So sometimes I see some really beautiful things of like foliage or colors that seem like they fit my watercolor palette a little bit better, and maybe something a little bit more natural looking will fit. So that's when I switch to doing traditional art, because I think the traditional look would fit it a little bit more easily. Does that make sense? So sometimes you just burn out of drawing in general and just need a overall break. Like you actually genuinely need a break. So you need to go and do other stuff, go take a walk or something, or hang out with friends, go watch a movie, go do other things, go read or something else. Just anything else besides drawing, just to take your mind off, as well as you probably might be just physically tired of the motion of just drawing, or mentally tired of thinking about ideas or tackling a certain kind of problem. The other ways for me is to obviously switch things up. Like I said, I like to switch up the medium a lot, but sometimes you need to switch up what you're drawing, so that can go either way. So you can either go back to your comfort zone and draw something you know that you can draw. So this might backfire, because I know some people get burnout from not liking their art, I guess. Like that's when you get art blocked, I guess. I guess art block might be a better term. Burnout is more like you probably just need a break. But art block is more like you might need to switch things up. You might need to challenge yourself more, because maybe you're at the stage where your art needs to be upgraded, I guess, because maybe your expectations are exceeding your current skill level. So maybe you want to improve on a certain area instead. Shizuku Mizutani asks, hi, do you see... Oh my god, I can't see. Hi, do you use smudging tool when you're doing digitally. I really don't know how to use it. So, and do you wait for your watercolor to dry before applying new colors again? So to answer the first question, I actually never use the smudge tool. I just don't use it, as well as the idea of blending with a brush I don't really like as much. I rely mostly on opacity. My bar right here is actually not fully at the top, but basically, let's say I'm taking this teal color and putting it into Sato's skin for whatever reason. This color and this color aren't blending together. It's just the green is being laid on top of the skin color. As you can see, there's no blending or anything happening. But because if I lightly use pressure and just feather out the edges and pick up the new color here, it makes it easier for me to transition one color to another. I'm never blending the color, I'm just kind of like merging the colors, if that makes sense, or overlaying them. Because my background in coloring and in art and drawing in general comes from working with pencil and graphite and dry medium, and the way you build up tone or shade is just gradually building up value. But yeah, that's generally how I work with colors. And do you wait for your watercolors to dry before applying new colors again? If you're applying new colors, it depends on what you want to get from the watercolor. So if you're looking to bleed one color into another so you have a smoother transition, waiting will cause a different look and the edges won't be fully blended together. So when you're layering watercolor, it's best to lay one color, and if it's still wet, you can bleed another color into it, as long as both of them are wet so that they kind of mingle in the middle. But if you're doing shadows, like pretend like how I'm coloring Sato right now, if you pretend you lay down your base color, you have to wait until that's fully dry before applying, like, let's say your shadow colors, just because you don't want to be accidentally reactivating the bottom color too much. So don't scrub at the page too much when you're layering up. But I highly recommend that if you're kind of shading over top your base color, you should let your colors dry completely. Let's see. King asks, would you ever make a web comic? So technically I do have a web comic, but it's not being updated anymore, and it's kind of more like a fan comic with chibis of 17. I'm no longer updating it anymore, just because I literally do not have the time to work on it. I feel like a webtoon is a full commitment. Okay, so the HVN, Anna, I don't know how to say your name, I'm so sorry. Would you ever consider doing drawing streams on YouTube instead of Twitch? So I feel like a lot of people don't know about this, because I streamed a lot more when I was at like, I don't know, 10k or something, like really small number of subs. The reason why I switched from Twitch to YouTube is actually because I don't like the overwhelming feeling of having so many people in the stream, if that makes sense. I'm also gonna stop promoting it on the YouTube channel, just because at some point I feel like notifications of constantly saying like, hey, I'm on Twitch, hey, I'm on Twitch, hey, I'm on Twitch is gonna get very annoying. So I'm gonna stop promoting it very soon on the community tab and stuff. So I think after I hit a larger milestone on YouTube, I tried streaming once and there was like 150 people, which is like the most that I've ever had for a live stream, and with such a large audience that it was very chaotic, and I did not feel comfortable even remotely chatting on there anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it on Twitch or Instagram. If you do want to keep up with notifications and stuff, I highly recommend, if you have a Twitch account, sign up for those notifications. That, or you have to lurk on my Instagram. France Illustrate asks, which time of day do you prefer to start working or drawing, and how many hours do you prefer finishing an artwork? You really inspired me to draw again. Keep it up. I'm glad you're drawing again. That's very exciting. In terms of which time of day to start working on stuff, I prefer the early afternoon, just because I am very much not a morning person. But in terms of like actually working on stuff, finishing stuff, and getting into a good workflow, I definitely prefer the evening. So I don't think I have a preference of how long I spend on an artwork. Obviously, if I'm doing videos, anywhere between 2 to 3 hours is good enough for me, just because it's just less footage for me to cut down. But in terms of finishing something for, let's say, a project or anything like that, I don't really have a preference. I just like working on stuff as much as it's needed. Moon Journal asks 4 different questions. So number 1, who's your favorite artist? Number 2, what do you enjoy most about the art process? 3, how did you first start animation? And 4, who's your favorite anime character? So favorite artist, I feel like if you browse anybody that I follow either on Twitter or Instagram is probably the easiest way to figure out who I like in terms of artists, because I like a variety of different artists. I don't think I have like a set one. What do you enjoy most about the art process? So for me, I really love sketching. I think sketching is my favorite part. I think this is the most fun. Like, you're getting ideas out. Obviously people sketch differently, so some people sketch like strictly with shapes and colors and blocking things in, but for me, just being able to shade and sketch things and refine things just with like one brush and everything, and don't worry about color and stuff, for me is more like the most fun. How did you first start animation? I don't know how to answer this question. I'm not proficient in animation. I like making derpy ones, just for carrots and stuff, because it's just fun to animate when you're given specific audio.
기회 한 번만 더 주세요. 기회 한 번만 더 주세요.
Because that's a lot of potential right there, honestly. So yeah, I think if you want to learn animation, just search up a bunch of different tutorials that are already online and see what programs you already have at your disposal. So I just use a normal like video software editing program. Like currently I'm using Camtasia. Before I used to use When the Movies Maker. Both of them worked well for what I wanted to do anyways. And I'm just here to just bring 17 quotes and moments back alive in a derpy chibi fashion. So favorite anime character, I don't think I have a favorite. I think that's the thing about me. I think it's hard for me to have like a favorite anything. I'm not super attached like to specifically one thing. I don't think I'm that type. I like a lot of the Haikyuu characters and Gintama characters. Oh wait, I forgot to answer someone else's question. I might have to re-find the question itself, but someone asked about favorite types of tea. Currently my favorite's still like Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey for even like milk teas or drinking it straight up. Yeah, but that's like if I'm wanting to drink some kind of a black tea. Jasmine green tea is definitely one of my favorites. What else? Matcha green tea. I drink a lot of matcha green tea as well. Vidya Ganesh asks, will you ever do tutorials on this channel? Maybe not like full-blown tutorials, but like maybe one of your draw with me so you can explain a bit more. So the reason why I always say that I have no intentions of making tutorials is because of me being uncomfortable. And I know some people had questions about like, what do you mean you're uncomfortable? Like, that's a dumb excuse or whatever. I've seen comments like that before. And the thing is, all I can say is that if a person's not comfortable with doing something, you can't force them to. So to those people, get off your high horse. But to answer this person's question is probably no. I probably won't do any tutorials. I don't see myself being able to explain even like the stuff that I do know or that I think I know in a coherent way that's concise and very like I can't explain things in a teachable way in my opinion. I think the closest you're gonna get is me giving out explanations and sometimes little mini demos during live streams. I don't know how to say this in a nice way. So to answer this person's question, no, I don't feel comfortable making tutorials, right? Because I think I lack the ability and the insight, I guess. Like, I personally do not think that for me to make a tutorial is contributing much to the people who already posted many different tutorials and information about what they already went through and what they learned. And I'm only saying that because if I'm able to learn with the little resources back then, and you guys are given so much resources now, especially with YouTube and Googling and stuff, there's much more stuff you guys can learn. Okay, so Onigiri is good asks, when or how did you become a Carat or standing any group? And Ruby Inkwell asks, what are your steps to digital painting, as well as when did you get into 17 and what is your favorite 17 song? So hopefully now we're moving towards the 17 questions, and then we'll move on to Genshin. I'll probably put an insert sometime in the beginning of the video because I know some people are going to have they're coming to this video for this question, and I know it. But are you doing a face reveal? I saw a bunch of questions like that on the community post as well as the YouTube comments just in general, and the answer is no. I have no intentions of ever doing a face reveal on YouTube. Like, there's never going to be a video that's going to be like, here's a video that's literally titled face reveal, right? It's like, how to explain this? My face isn't a secret. Like, I posted it to Twitter before, I posted it to Instagram before, even on YouTube, you just don't know where to check, right? But yeah, I'm not blatantly hiding it, if that makes sense. Obviously, I don't want my face to be blatantly on YouTube, just because it's the same thing with Twitch. Like I said, with the why I'm streaming on Twitch rather than YouTube. There's too many weirdos that can access YouTube regardless if you're subbed or not subbed, right? Because a lot of people who view my videos I think are subbed, but there's still a huge chunk of people who are not subbed. And what's the point of having your face on the internet for weirdos to look at? Like, if you're comfortable with it, yeah, then sure, go ahead and post videos with your face, right? But personally, I'm not comfortable with it. I also find it weird that people are demanding face reveals. Like, if you think the face reveal is gonna affect how you view my art, then I'd rather you not follow my art. Like, yeah. The thing is, like, Instagram, Twitter, I've all shown my face on there. It's not a secret. I just won't post it to YouTube because there's literally anybody can access it. And I know the argument's gonna be made that anyone can access Twitch, anyone can access Instagram and Twitter, right? But not everybody, or like weirdos, are gonna be like specifically targeting your stories or scrolling down previous posts to look for your face, right? But as soon as you put like a title of like face reveal, or like a person tries to not out you, how to explain it? Try to like expose you and be like, you know, her face was in this video or whatever. Like, why? What's the point? Like, why are you so curious about how a person looks? I don't understand. But when or how did you become a Carat? So I think I mentioned the story before, so I'm sorry if people are tired of hearing this, but I've been always a big fan of playlist groups back then. So I got into K-pop around 2011, I think, like early 2011, late 2010. And I really loved After School, and then later on when Newest came out, I was a big fan of them, like a super big fan. I'm still a super big fan of them, honestly. I just don't talk about them super much. Even right now, I'm listening to Inside Out. Yeah, it's a good song. You should listen to it. And the whole album and the solo tracks are beautiful, so I really love Newest a lot. Overcome, I think, is still one of my favorite songs, though. But because I was interested in playlist groups, my friend at the time, who was like an online friend, who I talked mostly about my K-pop stuff with, she showed me an article that Pledis was gonna debut a group in 2013, I think is when this article came out, saying that a group with 17 members with the average age of 17 was gonna make a debut under Pledis. And I'm like, oh my god, like, Pledis is a company who made groups that I really enjoy, so maybe I should check them out. So when I checked them out, there was one member in particular, which is Mingyu, who really stood up because he looked like Kimbum, I think his name is? Kibum? No, I think it's Kimbum. Who's that guy in Boys Over Flowers? He doesn't really look like him now, but at the time he kind of did. And that kind of piqued my interest. But also, I think at the time, I was 16-ish when more stuff about them came out. right? 15, 16ish. So they are around my age group. Like even right now, they're around my age group because I am the same age as Hoshi, June, Wonu, and Woozi. Like I'm the same age as them. And then yeah, so I was very interested in them. It's literally those teasers with them holding their name cards. Like it's like a tan beige-ish teaser, which I found very cute. I don't know, 17 was like a very cute group. And then I became a Carat immediately after Adore You. Obviously, I watched the big debut project, so I was very much a fan of them, but I started standing them like hardcore when Adore You and their promotions and stuff when they debuted, obviously. So, yeah. I really, like, yeah. I honestly, I stand them before debut, but I officially, like, I knew 100% that I was gonna become like a Carat when Adore You came out. Like everything about them, their style and music, everything is just like very much up my alley. So how do I start standing a group? Is this by coincidence? I feel like a lot of them becomes like moments or variety shows. Sometimes it's music. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense of how I became or how I knew about 17 and stuff. In terms of what are your steps into digital painting? So let's go through this. So usually I sketch everything out. I usually duplicate the sketch, so as you can see I have two different ones, and then I make the unhidden one to multiply, and then I do all the base colors. And now I'm gonna do the step which I am going to take the line art or like my sketch on multiply and merge it directly down so that we can render everything. Okay, so what's your favorite song from 17? So my favorite songs from 17 tend to be, or I like this is usually how I state my favorite song. So my favorite song is 17's Pretty You. If you like Pretty You, then thank you. I love Pretty You so much. Yeah, so Pretty You is my favorite song. It's also their first win, so it's a very important comeback and song for them. So yeah, I like 20 a lot. 20 used to be my favorite before Pretty You came out. Like so 20 used to be my favorite song, and then it was Pretty You, but right now it's Pretty You and then 20. I do like Our Dawn is Hotter Than Day. I also like Snapshoot. Currently Kidult is also one of my favorites. The last song on their Home Run album, like their semicolon album, yeah, All My Love, as well as Falling Flower. I think Falling Flower, but now I feel like Hitori Janai is up there now. It's like, I think you can probably tell my type in songs. I know a lot of Carats say this, like your home. Like they feel very comfy, they feel very like uplifting, right? Songs that I really do like, that I listen to for like different moods and stuff. Sometimes I love listening to Fronting. Fronting is definitely one of my favorite songs as well. I like so many 17 songs though. So Fronting, Wonu's rap is still very heart fluttering to me. Or I think it's Sungcho's part in Lean On Me. I will always listen to that if I'm literally in more of a crying, sobbing kind of mood. Like, you know, sometimes there's moods where you're sad and sometimes you need uplifting songs, but sometimes you're sad but you just want to cry. Like you need to cry, right? Or feel sad. Like sometimes you actually need to be in your feelings. The vocal unit songs are very much more my style because I am a ballad lover. I absolutely love ballads. So like the songs that I listen to if I really need like a mood booster, or like you gotta get crap done because you have a deadline, will be Hit. So Hit, Aju Nice, and Call Call Call, I feel like are the ones that I will listen to get stuff done. Elizabeth Margareta asked, how is your family so quiet when you record iPad ASMR videos? So I keep screwing this up somehow because I think the last time I mentioned this, I said 12 p.m. when I meant a.m. So I film my videos usually around 12 a.m. So for context, I tend to record at night, like literally at night and into past midnight basically. And the reason being is literally I don't want to disturb my family. So when they're sleeping, they close their door. When I'm recording, I'll close my door, and most likely they won't hear me. Hopefully, at least they told me they can't, so hopefully I'm not bothering them. And I mean, usually I'm recording ASMR videos, so I'm usually quiet as well, so they can't hear anything. But yeah, that's kind of the reason why. So when I record normal videos, I will try my best to cut out any distracting sounds, but my brother works from home, so whenever he's working, I tend to record normal videos. Bokuto's Guardian, that's a cute name. What is something you like to draw for comfort other than 17, of course, or maybe even a specific member? I know Wonu, but is there anything else you like to draw when it's just for fun? When it's just for fun, I think I flip-flop a lot. So yes, I draw a lot of 17. Sometimes I like reminiscing about stuff, so I will look up old eras of 17, put on their music videos or live performances and draw stuff from that. So even though Wanu's my bias and he's my favorite member and stuff, I don't draw him the most anymore, at least not currently. I've been drawing more of Jonghan and D8 and June, I feel like. But in terms of just for fun and uncomfortable drawing, I draw my OC a lot, Masaki obviously. I've been drawing Koji and Sato just a little bit more. And I like drawing Genshin, so sometimes I will draw Bennett, sometimes I will draw Kaya. I've been drawing Zhongli a little bit more. I'd been drawing Barba before. I drew Shinyan. Yeah. What's your favorite and least favorite parts to render in art? So my favorite to render is hair and clothing, but my least favorite is also hair and clothing. Because I feel like if you do hair and clothing well, it's fun. But if you do it poorly, it's the worst. Kitsune colon P, like the little bleh face. Do you ever procrastinate? I'm asking you because you're so consistent in everything. Take care, Ren. Thank you. I do procrastinate a lot. Especially in making YouTube videos, I feel like I procrastinate a lot. Sometimes I have a good flow and I'm several videos ahead. But sometimes I have really bad flow and I procrastinate because sometimes I loathe filming process just because I've had so many issues with filming that like as soon as it screws up, I need a day break. Like I'm not gonna re-record. Oh, I didn't really explain the drawing that much. So I kind of wanted to make it look like my OCs are kind of raiding my room. I don't know, did I answer the question properly? I do procrastinate a lot. Like I think, yeah, there's I don't know. I feel like some people are really on top of their game. I am not one of those people. I feel like I'm sadly one of those people who work best under pressure, so that's probably why sometimes I'm churning out videos consistently, but probably not in a timely manner. So Koyao Tenmo. When did you get your first iPad or tablet? Why would you like to draw? Which is your favorite art you draw? So I got my first tablet, which is the pen tablet. I think it was like 70 Canadian dollars, like a really small one. It has like the little red tag. It's like the Wacom pen tablet, and I got it when I was in 8th grade. I think I got it for my birthday. My dad let me buy it because he saw how serious I was about wanting to draw art and stuff, and I guess he found it very interesting. But you can make art on the computer, so I got that for my birthday. And then yeah, I think when I used it up until I think 2nd or 3rd year of uni for the most part, because after that I got the Wacom Intuos Pro in the size small, and I got that for my birthday as well, but I bought it for myself, and that's like, I think it's like $300. Wacom, my Gaomon, I think in August, I think is when they reached out, so that was my first introduction, so August of 2020. So my 3rd year of uni was, I think, 2017. So I used that for 3 years. But yeah, so I've been doing digital art for a while, but you don't need expensive tools to make digital art per se. If you have access to your computer, like a computer, you can buy cheaper tablets out there and you can make digital art. Like I feel like a lot of beginners nowadays think like a screen tablet is like 100% the way to go, which isn't the case, especially if you don't know if you're going to commit to actually making art for quite a while. There's no point of splurging. Why would you like to draw? Like if you're asking like why I draw, I find it fun. I literally find it fun. Also find it therapeutic. And what's your favorite art you drew? I'll probably put it on the screen if I can find it. I probably have to dig through my Instagram to find it, but I think it's a watercolor piece. If not, it's, I don't know. I actually don't know. I feel like it's a watercolor piece. It's probably the one of Wanu holding a book with, I think 2 larkspurs coming out and then these kind of abstract larkspurs in the background. It's a watercolor piece, I'm pretty sure. It's gonna be my favorite. So asked by 22, what got you into 17 and who was or is your first bias? Mine were and still are the Imuzi. So my first bias was actually Mingyu, and I explained why. Yeah, but then it kind of became Joshua and Vernon at the time, and then during the big debut project it became Wanu, and it's been kind of Wanu since, so... What do you love the most, drawing digitally or traditionally? I think I like both for their different reasons. I feel like in general I like drawing traditionally, but I think for like finished stuff I like working digitally. But just drawing in general I prefer traditional art because I like sketching and literally a pencil and a piece of paper is all I need. Without using any extra tools like in Procreate, what do you recommend to draw smoother line art? In Procreate, I think you have to look at, there's a lot of inking brushes that I believe Procreate already comes with, but if you click on a brush, you can see Streamline. Streamline will help you, as you can see, it slows down the brush and it kind of lags behind and kind of like almost corrects it. So that would help you do line art. It's similar to if you did like the stabilizer or the smoothing tool in Paint Tool SI or in Clip Studio Paint, right? But yeah, as you can see, it's much easier to do line art this way. I just don't use line art that much on Procreate, and I think that's why I kind of strayed away from line art as well, is because on Procreate I don't really like using the Streamline tool that much. I feel like it has a too weird of a like correction while also slowing down your lines. I don't know. I've done it before, but I don't know. Sato might be a cat. I don't know what I am. Charles Kim asked, what year did you start digital art? I believe 2000... Did I say 2010? I believe 2010. What inspires you to draw when you don't feel motivated? OC stuff? I feel like if I'm not motivated, I just probably won't draw. Like, I probably watch videos or play Genshin or do something else in the meantime until I feel motivated. That or you just browse Pinterest. I browse Pinterest and some, like, even seeing a picture of a cute little bicycle with flowers in a basket reminded me of Masaki, so I wanted to draw him doing that. I haven't done it yet, but it was something I wanted to do. Oh, why am I showing you guys on there? Okay. I have Pinterest on here. You can see all my things that I'm interested in. But like, even opening up Pinterest, I can see like stuff I already really like. I really like this already. So I would save that into maybe inspiration. I haven't touched my inspiration folder that much. I love this concept. Really pretty. I love the photography here. The lighting on here is gorgeous. Also the color comp. Really like, so like you could just put these into different places. Like I can put this into color palettes, I can put it in inspiration. Amin asks, how often do you play Genshin? Have you spent money on the game? So I have a rule for myself that I'm not allowed to spend money on the game. I do not want to be one of those gacha players that get entirely sucked into it and splurge their money on a pixel, a couple of pixels. So yeah, I'm not gonna pay for it. If you are paying for it or you like a character so much that you will pay for it, go ahead, you do you. But personally I have no interest of wasting my money, I guess. And how often do you play? I play every day. Maybe a cumulative hour, maybe less than an hour, depends on what's going on, I guess. I think because I'm just doing dailies and domains currently and grinding. Yeah, there's not much to do currently. What got you into Genshin Impact? So, I actually follow a lot of people from like the OTV group on Twitter, and I believe it was Lily and Aria, I think. There was like a couple of people, there was like a whole thread of people literally rolling for Venti, right? And I checked it up and I'm like, who the heck is Venti? Like, why are people rolling for him? And like, what is going on? So I searched it up and I saw Venti and I'm like, okay, I kind of want this guy, right? Like, I really like Venti. He's really cute, like really cute, beautiful design, love the color scheme. Yeah, I really liked Venti a lot. But seeing them play the game and then I realized it was a gacha game, I did consult with my brother because he plays gacha games a lot more than I have. So if I should play Genshin Impact, and my brother's like, oh, like maybe it's a game that you'll start playing and then you'll abandon, right? So like you can play it if you want, right? And then I started playing it because I really wanted Venti. I didn't know much about the game besides that it is a similar to like Breath of the Wild kind of vibes, right? And it has a gacha system, and I'm very aware of the gacha system because of watching my brother pull many times. So he played it because he was already interested in the game as well, but it kind of sold him because I was playing it and me and my brother like playing multiplayer sometimes, so that was the reason why. It's because of Venti. So I felt very happy when he came home during the Windbloom Festival because I'm literally playing the game for him. Here's the question. What's your favorite Genshin Impact character? I'm genuinely curious. Here are some cookies. So, as I mentioned in the previous question, Venti is definitely one of my favorite. I love Zhongli, as well as Kaya has a special place in my heart, as I mentioned before, because he has been on my team since day one, and my roles were super crap to the point where I was literally stuck with the main team. So Barbara's also one of my favorites. So I would say Venti, Zhongli, Barbara. I'm waiting for Yao Yao so I can confirm if I 100% love her or not. Who else is there? Kaya, I guess. Kaya, yeah, like, special place in my heart. What else? Who else? Let's just say it's those four for now. My brain's having a hard time remembering. I do like Xinyan though. I like Xinyan. Let's go into a little bit of the random questions. Pancakes or waffles? Asks Adri? I'm gonna say waffles. I do like something with a little bit of crisp. But are you an introvert or an extrovert? I am 100% an introvert. There's no doubt about it. If you aren't an artist now, what would you be? What job would you have if you're not an artist? Keep going and stay healthy. Thank you. I think I might have went either into some kind of biology or science immediately, just because like I probably had the grades for at least biology. But in terms of actual interest, psychology maybe. I would have wanted to do something with either psychiatry, becoming a psychologist maybe, or even like student counseling, if that makes sense. Like helping out the youth with issues and stuff. I'm generally interested in helping people in terms of like if they have issues or problems. I'm generally wishing I could help people a little bit more, either if it's for understanding, through listening, you know, like helping them sort out through some issues and stuff. Kind of wish I did more of like youth stuff when I was younger. Maybe did something with camp counseling or something in the past, but I didn't because I'm super shy. But I think I always wanted to be like a high school counselor or something for people. What's your favorite flower? I see you draw a lot of characters with pretty flowers, so I'm curious.
Blue Himalayan poppy.
This Hansuke kind of got cut off too. But I think we're almost at the end of all the questions. So hopefully I answered some of your guys' questions well enough, I guess. And hopefully this thing won't be like 50 minutes long, like the other one. But hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about myself just a little bit, and you get to learn a bit more about my OCs. So here's Koji, Masaki, Sato, myself being scared by everybody, and Hansuke. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Hopefully I will finish this maybe off camera, and then I'll show you guys maybe the full speed paint portion at the end. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!